Get everything in order. Um, Once again, welcome to the BOE broadcast. For those that know, we do this every season, every year. About to get it. Give me 1 second. I need to check my phone. My phone is dying. So I quickly get it set up. I'm gonna post the link to those of y'all that don't have the link. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hey, real football is less than a month away, fellas. About a minute. I just posted the stream in the chat. Alright, fellas, once again, welcome to BOE season end. We're gonna go through the season. We're gonna go through the season end. We're gonna go through the award shows. We're gonna go through several different things. Talk about and discuss basically, the BOE community. I'm gonna give out a few shout outs to a few of the owners. Go through a few things. Season end, go through the season, go cap, and just basically fly through the awards. The regular BOE thing that we normally been doing for years. Just haven't done it last year, I've been busy. We'll be back at it. Let's go. So we're gonna dive straight into it. We're gonna start off with playoff standings before we even show off anything else. So we're gonna go straight to the playoff standings on the AFC side. So Coach Embolish took first place in the AFC with a 15-1 record, followed by myself, the Brooklyn Barons, with 14-2. Third place goes to Drake and the Steelers with a 12-4 record. The Texans automatically takes fifth place because fourth place goes to the Bills in the AFC East. Basically, with division, how that goes. Divisions go before the other two other places. Fifth place goes to the Texans at 12-4, and the last seed in the AFC went to the Ravens at 11-5 record. On the NFC side, the National Football Conference side, we have the Bucks and Coach Mike finishing with a 14-2 record. He is a defending Super Bowl champion, so he has a lot in his shoes. Followed by Muscles of Midway and the Bears trying to make a name of himself in BOE. See how far he goes at 13-3. Then we have the Hawks here with a 13-3 record. He's always a consistent playoff guy. We have Coach Raw and the Toronto Huskies at 12-4. Round out the last two spots in the playoffs. We have T-Will and the Lions and Detroit Lions at 11-5. And I'm still a little bit irked that KC and his Where's Waldo's ass is in the playoffs at 11-5. This last spot should have went out to the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. But that's another story for another segment. Let's keep it moving. So we're gonna keep it moving here. We're gonna go right into basically season awards. We're gonna go from season one. We're gonna go from week 1 of the regular season all the way leading to week 17, and then finalizing it with the whole award show, yearly award show. So this is what led up to the yearly award show. Right off the bat, week 1, we had on the NFC side offensive player of the week. We have Brett Hundley and the Green Bay Packers. And then the AFC side, we have Sounds West and the New York Jets. On the defensive side and the NFC, we have Madul, and on the AFC side, we had the Mr. Interception record breaker himself. Don't forget, fellas, this dude Wilson, before Coach Ball retired, had 30 picks in the season. Let me bring that back. That boy Wilson, before the owner retired, he led the league with 30 picks from the middle linebacker position. That's just a cheat code. We're gonna talk about that later. Even though I beat him, that's still a cheat code. Shouldn't be having 30 picks as linebacker. God damn it. Moving on. Moving on to week 2. So we have Brandon Cooks and the Bears on the NFC side, and then we have Lamar Miller and the Texans on the AFC side, who close out the week 2 offensive players of the week award. On the defensive side, from the NFC side, we have Jones from the Falcons. Then you have Logan Ryan from the Patriots. Those close up your top award winners of week 2. Week 3 of the season, we had Zeke the Freak on the Buccaneers with the Bucks on the AFC side, and then we have the rookie Rayburn on the AFC side with the Bengals getting the job done in week 3. On the defensive side, we had another rookie. We had 2 rookies actually. We had Woodler, the middle linebacker, drafted in the 2nd round by the Eagles, winning the defensive side. And then we have that freak linebacker, another freak linebacker in the league, drafted by the Raiders, by Chris Aller and his Oakland Raiders, leading that award division right there. So moving on to week 4. So week 4 of the regular season, we have Posey from the Seahawks winning on the NFC side. Le'Veon, too shifty for you, Bell, winning the award on the AFC side. On the defensive side, week 4, we had Hunter from the Vikings, and then we have Bob from the Titans. Those are your week 4 winners. Week 5, for them speeding it through, because the award show goes a little bit more in depth with that, so I'm speeding it through the weekly. It's almost like a recap. Week 5, we have Cooks again, who's back in here on the NFC side, and then we have Robinson, another rookie quarterback, taken in the 1st or 2nd round, I believe, with a trade. He actually traded. I gave him a pick. He traded up with me to get to that position. And I'm not sure, I can't remember if it was the 2nd or 1st round, but he used it to pick a quarterback, and that quarterback, we're going to talk about him later on in the show. Robinson balled off this year for the Raiders. Good luck to you, and your congratulations on your win in week 5. On the NFC side, we have Jimmy Ward winning it for the 49ers. And then that rookie again, like I told you, pay attention to that rookie from the Raiders. That's the 2nd time I'm going to bring up his name. He's here again. 1 week he had 5 sacks and 3 picks. This week he's here with 3 tackles and 4 picks. That rookie's a cheat code. Moving on to week 6. We have Famous James on the NFC side, winning the offensive player of the week. On the AFC side, we have Glades, who was a rookie last year and continued to produce at an unexpected level this year for the Bengals and Coach Poison, who is still MIA, by the way. I'm gonna throw an SOS out for him. And they're trying to be dealing with stuff right now, but let's keep it moving. On the defensive side award for week 6, correct me. We have Kyle Fuller and the Chicago Bears, and then followed by McCurse of the Indianapolis Colts. Week 7, so I'm gonna keep moving fast through these weekly awards to speed things up. We have Jameis again back at it, and that's another famous name right there in the rookie Robinson. They round out the offensive player for AFC NFC side of week 7. On the defensive side, you have the consistent Luke Kuechly, followed by Khalil the Freak Matt. I'm gonna change that to Zeke the Freak. Khalil just the Warrior. Khalil the Warrior Matt. Finishing off the week 7 awards. Going into week 8, we have Archer from the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr from the Oakland Raiders, rounding out the offensive player of the week for week 8. Week 8 defensive players came from Israel, the corner from the Hawks, and Aaron Gregory, the defensive lineman from the Bengals. Week 9, we round up the top 2 players on the offensive side of the ball. In the AFC, we have Will Fuller. And then in the NFC, we have Bernier. Defensive side of the spectrum, we have Navarro Bowman representing the 49ers. And then we have Marshall representing the Broncos on the defensive of the AFC side. Moving on up to week 10. Week 10, we have on the defensive side, we have Neal for the Falcons. On the NFC side, we have Jason Verrett on the defensive side for the AFC, defensive player of the week. And the NFC side, offensive players of the week, we have Herman, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, and then we have Perryman. It's a lot of men's that won week 10. Hiraman and Perryman. Looks like the man was winning that week. That was dry. Offensive Week 11 offensive players of the week. We have Teddy Bridgewater for the NFC side and the Vikings. Le'Veon Bell's back again in the books for the AFC side. On the defensive aspect of Week 11, defensive players of the year, the Vikings was on fire that week as he had two representatives. Xavier Rhodes round out the NFC side, and Chris Harris Jr. round out the AFC side. Week 12. Mama, do me a favor, Mama? Can you go get tissue for me for your brother, please? Yes, please. On the defense, and so Week 12, once again, Brandon Cooks is back in the picture. Winning the NFC, National Football Conference Offensive Player of the Week. On the AFC side, American Football Conference side, we have Herman, who's back at it consistent on Week 12. On the defensive spectrum of Players of the Week, thank you, Mama. Oh, careful, you okay? On the defensive spectrum of the week, we have Dunlap from the Cardinals, and then we have Jalen Ramsey from the Brooklyn Barons, who's looking to finally get a Super Bowl because they've lost two, one as a Jaguars and one as a Baron. So we'll see what happens. Moving on now, that's another topic later on. Moving back, and we see Famous James's third appearance on the Player of the Week podium. He finishes off. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. He corrected me. It was the first round. Like I said, I do have an elephant's mind when it comes to the league, but even with that, you know, it could be right, but it could be slightly off in information. Moving on up. So moving on, we have Famous James again here, week 13, with the winning the NFC side offensive player of the week. On the AFC side, we have Cadillac Jones winning the AFC offensive player of the week on week 13. Now, on the defensive side, players of the week, we have Elber from the Bears, and then we have Jackson at third from the Bengals. Moving on to week 14, we have Bailey, the quarterback from the Huskies, who was the Cowboys, but they are now called the Huskies, winning the NFC Offensive Player of the Week on Week 14. And then Rayburn, the rookie quarterback, is back in the spotlight, winning the Offensive Player of the Week in the American Conference side of the equation. On the defensive side, we have Ryan Shazier winning it for the Saints, and then we have Bouye winning it for the Houston Texans. Moving on to Week 15, Cam Newton rounded out the National Conference Offensive Player of the Week, followed by Dickinson on the American Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Then we move on to the defensive spectrum, where Michael Daniels won the Defensive Player of the Week for the Green Bay Packers. And then we have Maynard, who won the Defensive Player of the Week for the American Conference. We're moving on to Week 16. Like I said, we're just moving through the yearly weekly because it's almost like a review. We have Kugaba winning it for the NFC side, and then we have Dickinson for his second time in the. No, it's actually his third. His third time in the Players of the Week. Round winning it for the AFC side. On the NFC side, we have Bobby the Consistent Wagner. He's just a consistent linebacker. He's been that way since he came into the league, winning it for the NFC side. And then Khalil Mack, you see his name again for the third time throughout this weekly award. Khalil Mack is just a warrior. Finishing off around week 16. So going into week 17, the last week of the season, we finish it off with Goodwin winning the NFC Offensive Player of the Year. Perriman back on his third time, winning the AFC Player of the Year. Noah Spencer finishing off with 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Finishing that game, just so many things went wrong with that game. We're not going to go into it. That boy balled out, finished with 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, but it cost the Panthers the playoffs because he was always in the backfield. Move on and on up, we have Kyle Kruger. This man almost broke the interim record held by Wilson, who had 30. I think Kyle Kruger had 26. Was very close to even think about imaginable having 30 to 26 picks a season is ridiculously high. These boys are balling out with these user skills. Good job, fellas. Moving on. So we're gonna dive right into. Whoa, getting big here. broke my chair. I'm gonna dive right into it. I'm gonna go into the NFL MVP, and if you've been watching these award shows for a while, you not only do the top three players in each category. Everybody else after that, I can really care less. So when you're in the podium, you get gold, silver, bronze. You didn't finish the top three. Nice try next year. So moving on, MVP of the season goes to Perriman. This guy, since he's been in the league, since he came into the league, is balled out. He was hungry this year, and he deserved it, and he got the award done. Right in second place was Famous Jam, the defending Super Bowl MVP champion, finished in the votes for second place. And then not too far behind him was Le'Veon Too Smooth Bell, finishing in third place. Now we're going to go into the Coach of the Year. So the Coach of the Year goes to Chris Allen and the Oakland Raiders with an astonishing 15-1 record. As you know, the league is filled with a bunch of great users. So for you to finish 15-1 is a testament to your skills as a user, as a BOE member yourself. So congrats to you on that with the 15-1 record. Moving on, on the NFC side, well, let me rephrase that. Chris Ballard and Bolish finished as the #1 Coach of the Year in BOE this season. But he also won the Coach of the Year on the AFC side. So on the NFC side of the Coach of the Year, it was the defending Super Bowl champion, and which is Mike with Dirt. And he finished with a 14-2 record. Mike beat me in the Super Bowl, as we all know, but Mike, I still got the most head-to-head wins on you, and I still got the better head-to-head Super Bowl wins on you. So I'm just gonna leave that tidbit in there. But I'm still salty, so he blew me out. That's how salty I am. And we've never had a one-sided game like that, but he just no Vaseline, rip me a new one. Going on. AFC side of the award show, we're gonna go straight into it. Offensive Player of the Year was Perriman, who is your season MVP, so it's only right that he's actually your Offensive Player of the Year for AFC. Congrats to that man, Kiefer Perriman. Keep doing what you're doing, young man, and just try to bring the ring home this time, all right? Like I said, we lost the Super Bowl as a Jacksonville Jaguars. We moved to Brooklyn, and we lost the Super Bowl as Brooklyn Barons. Is this the year this young man, he's his third year in the league, could he do it? He's been to 3 Super Bowls. Could he finally win one for the Brooklyn Barons? Who knows? You got to go through a lot of competition in the AFC, especially those tough, resilient Oakland Raiders. It's always a great matchup when we go against them. Next, number 2 on the docket, we have Le'Veon Too Smooth for you, Bell. The Steelers, as we all know, just likes to pound this man to the ground, and Le'Veon is still consistent, gets the job done, keeps it moving. He led the league in touchdowns and came second to yards to the fellow man who actually fell short to him offensive rankings at Dickerson. Dickerson led the league in yards and led the league in carries, but lost in touchdown ratio to Le'Veon Bell. But this young man, since he came into the league, has been outplaying his status. Just falling. It was crazy how his story went. Falling into the late second or early third round when it was the first round projected pick, and the Jaguars just jumped on it and they got themselves a hell of a steal in the player here. Moving on, we're going to the defensive players of the year. I mean, no surprise here. We saw his name 4 to 5 times in the weekly awards. So why are you surprised Khalil the Matt Warrior wins the defensive player of the year? It's no surprise. The man is as consistent can be. Abalish knows how to use him. He rotates him around that defensive front. And Khalil Mack pays dividend and just unblockable. Got the job done, finishing off with the Defensive Player of the Year award. Is right now behind him is Justin Houston. And then right behind him, the the interception holder for the league. 30 interceptions. 30 interceptions. Let me repeat that. I can't get over that. Even though that happened 2 seasons ago, you will forever be known as Ramir 30 interception Wilson. Moving on. So Offensive Rookie of the Year, like I said, this was a battle to the end between these two, and it's only spit that they're in the same division. That is the ironic part. These two teams been going at it all year, and these 2 rookie quarterbacks have been battling all year. And your boy Kevin Robinson, who was actually who Barons pleads the 5th. Gave up a pick for the Ravens to move up and select this young man, and he has paid dividend. This young man is playing as a rookie. He's playing in his first. Not only did he make it to the Pro Bowl, so he's probably still going to be playing he's playing his first game in the playoffs, looking for a chance to upset the division-winning Steelers. Should be one heck of a game. I look forward to that. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Robinsons. Look forward to that. Next on the list, we have Rayburn. Like I said, these two were battling it over and over all season long. And Rayburn was on the weekly awards. Robinson was the weekly awards. Divisional rivals. Both took it in the first round. Rayburn was taken a lot higher than Robinson, so he was trying to, trying to say, look, I went before you, I'm better than you. But Robinson had the last laugh in the last gig and kind of shut down the Bengals season and killed it at that. And keeping that division strong is Hayward. Even though they did finish with a 2-14 record, this young man balled out and did his thing. Moving on to Defensive Rookie of the Year, like I told y'all before. This linebacker, this middle linebacker, when he was picked up, I said he went to the right system and the right team to utilize his skills. And he's been dominating. He had a game, I think it was like week 8 or week 7, where he had 5 sacks and 3 interceptions. How do you get more than 3 sacks and 3 interceptions in one game? Then 2 weeks later, he continues that with 1 sack and 4 picks. He went to the right system and the right scheme because Embolish, we all know, loves to prowl the middle with those linebackers. Him and Ball, the Chiefs owner, they are both guys you do not want to throw at the middle line because they will pick you off at least 6 or 7 times. I love playing users like that. Matt McClung, I hope we play again. You guys edged me out with a field goal we played in Barron Stadium, and now this time we're coming to Oakland. Remember you, rookie, because you caught 2 picks. I mean, you had a sack and a false fumble. We have a target on you this time, running right at you and running right through you. Next on the list, we have Christian George. Like I said, the Browns was fighting. Besides finishing a 2-14 record, they had spirit, and the rookies fought and hard. Christian George finished at 2nd, and then Tracy Cameron finished there at 3rd. Moving on. Best quarterback in the AFC. This young man has proved it his first season, proved it his 2nd season, and now he's here proving it in his 3rd season. He has been more than consistent as consistent could be. He's just been balling, and he just needs a ring now to solidify himself as one of the greatest steals in the draft. That's all he needs, just a ring. Once he gets that ring, Perriman, then we could discuss you being one of the unique first, 2nd round picks who actually won a ring. Moving on, Aaron Rodgers, there's nothing to be said about Hail Mary, bless. Just Aaron Rodgers, and he has a defense that can play with him. He has he has Walt on one side and JV on the other. That defensive set, Aaron Rodgers is chilling there, throwing it to Hopkins, Strong, and a bunch of other weapons for the Texans. He's been consistent at an old age. Rodgers probably gonna retire this year or next year in BOE, but he's still Mr. Consistent. Then you have Rayburn, who edged out in the votings. He edged out his fellow rookie winner, Robinson. Rayburn edged him out in the votings. We was looking at the media press vote. By 2 votes, Rayburn edged him out, and he was able to get the 3rd slot of the best QBs in the AFC side. The only reason why Rayburn's up there, if you look at the intel to touchdown ratio, is ridiculous. You think he only threw about maybe 13 picks a season to his 31 touchdowns. So he was consistent, but he just choked at the end of the season. I don't know if the back and forth Twitter beef that him and fellow division quarterback Robbins was going to. I don't know if that got in his head and just choked at the end of the season. But the little Twitter beef and all the back and forth with the media that was going on was entertaining to the league, was entertaining to the media team. He loved it. He was eating it all up. But yeah, he just choked at the end of the season. Hopefully this young bookie can learn from his first season and improve. And Robinson is still trying to say, look, I'm the better pick. Even though you got picked before me, I'm gonna run this division. Keep it moving. Next, moving on to the running backs of the year. Le'Veon too smooth for you. Bell, like I said earlier, the Steelers ground and pound. Their number one thing is run. And Bell was willingly backed up at this. He ran the ball, he ran it well, got his big yards, and finished off. As you can see, he had 2 weekly awards that he won. He was just the best, pound for pound, the best back in the league this year. Dickerson, who's been slowly improving. He had a heck of a rookie season. He shut the league down in everything. His last season, he was quiet, didn't really do as much. Was just quiet, kind of laid back, because as the offense is folding more into giving Perriman the rounds, letting Perriman grow as a quarterback. Dickerson fell back a little, but this year he led the leagues again in carry. Just like the Steelers, the Barons like to pound the ball. Dickerson has led the leagues in carries for the last 3 seasons he's been in the league. He touches the rock at least 25 times a game. And he's gonna keep touching it at least 25 times a game. Just to where you are. He's a big back, and congrats to you on that. And then Terrence West is still being consistent. He was back up early in his career, made a transition over to another team. As you can hear in the background, our media camera crews are fighting. They're trying to see who's going to get the first interview or who's going to win cameraman, the defensive player, offensive rookies of the year. So they're fighting over that right now. So we're going to try to come down the media team in the background now. But back to Terrence West. He was a backup for several years. I appreciate it, Jaden, for subscribing. He was a backup for several years, made a transition over on a trade to go over to a different conference. And he's been balling out since then. Good job. I appreciate you, Jaden. Moving on up. So, wide receiver on the AFC side is Will Fuller. Since the trade from coming over from the Texans, he's been a good weapon for Perriman to lean on and develop with. When all things go wrong, it's usually a screen or a deep pass. I'm giving out free scouting. Isn't love. If you can stop it, stop it. If you can't stop it, he's not the only weapon. If you look at the Barons playbook, Will Fuller's he had a 3rd reception on the team. I mean, he was up in yards by a little. The Barons finished with 3 receivers over 1,000 yards. So you know they spread the ball over. So Fuller is the main weapon, but if you double team him, you will get ate up by Bryant and Allen Robinson. Moving on, Amari Cooper was in 2nd place. Cooper was always Mr. Consistent with the Raiders and Chris. He constantly been doing this thing, catching on people. The one game I'm going to talk about is week 3 when the Barons actually faced the Raiders. Amari Cooper almost had 350 yards on that defense. And if you know the Barons defense is not a defense you could have 350 yards with one receiver. And Amari Cooper was catching on triple teams, 4 teams, double teams, half the team back there. He was still catching the ball on everybody. So Cooper was blazing and he was doing his thing. Now this guy right here was a rookie last year. He's been consistent in the league, constantly getting better. Blades, good job. Congrats to you. We're going to move on to offensive lineman of the year. And it looks like you could just basically say the Barons all offensive front line, as that's basically what it is. The front 5 kind of won this award, led by Ron Staley. Now this trade kind of shook the league a little when the Barons traded away the running back, a pick, and another player to get Ron Staley from the Ravens. Kind of shook the league up a little, but it's paid dividend. Everybody's like, why are you giving away so much for a left tackle? And look, the man's not winning an award, so it wasn't. We was looking towards the future. Moving on, defensive lineman of the year. Why am I surprised? It was the defensive player of the year. Khalil Mack is the defensive lineman of the year, followed by Clay Matthews. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers went over from Green Bay to the Texans, and his defensive leader on the other side of the ball, Matthews, followed him, and they've both been balling out for that Texans defense. Now, this man shocked us all. He overachieved last season on his rookie year, winning defensive lineman of the year and defensive player of the year. He was consistent last season. This season he was on a roll until he got hurt when the Barons owner left for a week to go get married, and he got hurt in the sim. I'm so surprised he even still kept his name on the list, because he doesn't come back until my first game of the playoffs is when he comes back. He's been hurt for 6 weeks, and he comes back the first week of the playoffs. So congrats to you, Nick Google, keeping it up. Linebackers of the year, Justin Houston, followed by Ramikos, and these two have been consistent with their sides. And then Jertavius Brown, this man he's a beast, and he's still developing as a character. And Cali Kid is using him well. We was close to getting the trade to getting him in there, but we couldn't get the paper signed before trade deadline. That would have been deadly to think what he would have done to the Barons defense. Moving on to the defensive back of the year, goes to Chris Harris Jr. from the Broncos, Boyer from the Texans, and Jason Verrett from the Chargers. I'm speeding up a little bit for the last part because I kind of used a lot from the earlier part. Kickers are players too. So for this, I'm gonna get one of the media team members to announce the winner here. As you can see, he's coming in to show love to his fellow Baltimore Ravens winner, He was excited when he found out Justin Tucker won the award, and he's just shaking in happiness. He's so happy. He's like, yeah, moving on. So Justin Tucker, congratulations on you winning that kicker of the year. Myers fell in second, Boswell fell in third. Now we're gonna move on to the NFC side of things. We're gonna dive right into it to the kickers. Franks won the kicker of the year, followed by McManus for the Seahawks, and then Gino for the Panthers. Now going into offensive player of the year for the NFC side, Ezekiel Elliott. Now when this trade first happened, it was a ridiculous trade that the Bucs gave up Levante Davis, a first-round pick, Leon Conlon, a first-round pick to give up Mappet, one of their up-and-coming offensive linemen, for Zeke, and in a second, and give up a second also. But ever since that trade has gone down, this Zeke has just been that medicine to relax his counterpart in famous James. He fell in second place to his teammate Zeke, and followed by Derrick Henry. So defensive player of the year has been Kawan Alexander. Like I was saying earlier, on the AFC side, we have the Chiefs, the Old Dolphins, and the Raiders owner, who are excellent with the middle linebacker lurks and middle linebacker picks. On the NFC side, that happens to be Mike and the Cowboys when he's on this game. He does that as well also. And the Panthers. Those three do the linebacker lurk real well. So it kind of balances each other. It was interesting to watch this young man develop and become the player that he is now in this year from the first two seasons. Then we have Mikal Kendricks finishing in second for KC and the Eagles, and then the rookie Elvery for the Bears, who's been a surprising success story this season after sitting back his first season. He basically let the old organization run itself and didn't really play his game. He said he's making a big splash this year. And he did. He's made a big splash this year, and the Bears has been a success story and a story to watch in the playoffs. Is he going to be one and done? Is he going to shock the NFC? Who knows? Should be an interesting season. Look forward to it. Moving on. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes out to T-Dubs and Rainey. The Lions did their thing, followed by McGriff and then Peyton from the Bears. So in Defensive Rookie of the Year, Coach KC and Reynold Hope, Coach Monster and Trey Woody, and then back to Coach KC again with Marone. Now, best quarterback on the NFC side goes to Mike and James Winston, followed by Jeff and I'm sorry, because I'm so used to Cam Newton being the Panthers. But this was a trade. This was a trade that was a head scratching trade, but he traded Cam Newton away. I'm not sure how much fun though. He traded Cam Newton away for flower food. How do you get flower food?
I don't know. Your son gets stuff from everywhere. I don't know.
He's so another trade. So eating flower food. The media team had to step away for a second. We had one of the media team members trying to get flower food and throw it on the system as if they're soil. Back to the topic. Yeah, so this was one of those other head scratching trades that happened at the end of last season. Jeff and the Carolina Panthers decided that they wanted to part ways with Cam Newton. Put in the same they wanted to part ways with Cam Newton. They traded him on a blockbuster trade to the Bears. And that's paid dividends to both teams, and they both are succeeding with their doing it their own different ways and succeeding in their own different aspects. And Cam Newton is keeping it up, loving his new supporting cast there in Chicago. Moving on to Dak Prescott with the Huskies. Doc's been continuing doing this thing since he came into the league. Like I said, we were still shocked when the Cowboys, before it became the Huskies, moved out of town when Jerry Jones sold it to Raw. That they traded away Ezekiel. It was a surprising trade, but it happened. And the Huskies, they've been consistent. They only missed the playoffs last season, but they've been consistent playoff presence. And good luck to you guys in the playoffs. Good luck to the Bears in the playoffs. Good luck to the Bucs in the playoffs. Moving on to the NFC running backs of the year. Zeke won the Offensive Player of the Year, so it's only fair that it only makes sense that he wins the running back of the year. Like I said, Zeke has just been in a Super Bowl matchup that he had against me, because Zeke and the Bucks, Mike and the Bucks are defending champions. The man did everything. He had more receiving yards than his receivers. He finished with 170 receiving yards. Let me repeat that: 170 receiving yards on 12 receptions, and had a buck 42 rushing yards on like 21 carries. Like, he was the team. I got beat by Zeke. I didn't get beat by anybody else. Wide receivers didn't do anything. Zeke was a wide receiver, the quarterback, the running back, and the goddamn defense. Well, Alexander was a defense guy. Just picked me up 3 times, and I got sacked like left and right. My offensive line just, I don't know, they wasn't playing. But Ezekiel, we had nothing for him. Like, the guy was catching on safeties and linebackers as if he was a wide receiver. He was catching on 2 people. It was just one of those. He just had one of those games. So yeah, Zeke, continue to keep balling. Good luck to you, and good luck to the rest of you in the playoffs. So moving on, we have Derrick Henry and the Redskins. He's been balling since he left the Titans. And he actually left the Titans to go to the Bears. Balled out there, won running back of the year 2 seasons ago, and then got traded to the Redskins, and he's continued to ball out there. And then C.J. Posey, who's underrated in the league, but he's one of those running backs you really have to watch out for, because the Hawks use him in a dynamic way. So, you know, 1 minute he could be a power back, next thing he could be a toss back, or he could be a scat back. So he's one of those guys you gotta watch out for in the Hawks formation. It's fun to watching him play, the way they rotate and move things around. Moving on to the wide receivers on the NFC side. Boucher was a late round assertion. He came into the league, blew up the league early with just dominance, to the point where Raw had to trade away Des Bryant. He just wanted to use a Boucher and Goodwin, and it's been paying off. He's been developing a young man. The young man's been paying dividend, be doing good. Then we have Brandon Cooks on the Bears, who's been balling out, doing his thing for the Bears, and trying to be relevant, consistent, stay consistent. Then we have Mike Consistent Evans. Man, this guy catches anything thrown his way. That's all I have to say about the man. He just catches everything thrown his way. On the offensive lineman of the year, like I said, so the trade with the Cowboys has really paid dividend to the Bucks. You got Ezekiel Elliott and Leo Collins, and these two have been the main counters, and they've basically been the franchise players on his team. He overpaid for them, but they've been the 2 main counters on his team. So sometimes when you really see a scheme fit or a player that you really need, you just have to overpay to get that success that you want. And that's exactly what happened in the Bucks case. Get up for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Levante Davis, and another player for Collins and Zeke. And he has a Super Bowl ring, Offensive Player of the Year, Running Back of the Year, MVP. So the overprice was good. Moving on to Trent Williams from the Bears, and then Whitehair from the Bears also. I think the Bears have a great offensive line. We'll see if that pays them dividend in the playoffs. Now, on the defensive line aspect of everything, we have Cameron Jordan, Mr. Consistent himself. He's been doing it for a long time in the league and continues to do it. Fletcher Cox for KC. Then we have Javinia Clowney, who on the Bears. The Bears have a squad. I'm just looking at players on the Bears. They should be interested when player time comes. I need to go through that roster again. They have a nice, decent squad there. Moving on. Telling them something biased. The linebackers of the year, I'm not surprised that Alexander won it. The man was a freak, defensive player of the year. It seems to be a trend. If you win defensive player of the year, whatever category you're in, you're winning that category also. So he was a defensive player in the NFC and also the best linebacker in the NFC this year. The man was picking up everything left and right. Like I said, Wilson had 30 picks. Kruger had 26 picks. Alexander had 18. So it's like these guys that know how to use their linebackers are just excellent with it. Just don't throw over the middle. Stay to the outside, stay to the deep. And when you do throw over the middle, double stack them. Make them chase one player and throw a guy right behind them. That's the only hint I can give you with playing guys that like to utilize those middle linebackers efficiently. They do it well, because I can't do it. I'm a safety guy. I get picks from my safeties. I can't get picks from my linebackers. It's a whole new different ballgame for me. Not to be outdone, Blake Martinez has been consistent since he came into the league as a rookie with the Packers and with Matt and the Cheeseheads, and he's continued to do his job. So congratulations to the young man Blake. Followed by Jeff and Luke Kuechly. They've just been doing their work and getting it done. So moving on to best defensive player, defensive back. in the NFC. Goes to Casper with Jeff and the Panthers. They just missed the playoffs. Incremations that should have been avoided. So these young men are probably going to be hungrier this year, knowing that they just missed it in the last game of the season. They're going to be hungrier to fight back, and he's proven that he could be the top of the game in his position. Let's see what he does next year. Moving on, we have Caleb, the safety, has been balling out since ownership changed, and he's doing his thing. Byron Jones at one point was winning this category for 7 weeks, and then he just slowed down a little due to lack of communication in the defense and things moving around, and he finished up in 3rd place. All right, so that finishes off our awards. Like I said, I applaud everyone who won an award and kept it, Sim, and we had ups and downs and tribulations throughout the year, but congrats to all your award winners. Now we're gonna dive straight into the playoffs. So the playoffs, as we know, we like to do playoffs. We have to do playoff previews. So the playoff previews, we're gonna quickly go over the Ravens and the Steelers. As you can see, Gontu and the Ravens here versus Drake and the Steelers is gonna be one of those matchups you gotta watch. And just to understand these teams, we're gonna go through a quick overview of what these two teams are about. So if we come over here, just to kind of get a quick overview of what these two teams are about and what they stand for. As you can see, if you look here, in the top 10 offensive teams, the Steelers are right there. Actually, the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the Steelers offensively are a top 5 offensive team. They get the job done. The Ravens not to be outdone in the top 10 offensive teams. So it should be one of those games. It should be a battle. It should go down to the wire. Now, this is where it gets interesting. One of them outdoes the other on defense. So when it comes to defense in the league, I believe it was the Ravens. Yes, the Ravens finished just 1 spot ahead of 2 spots ahead of the Steelers in here, as they allowed a total of 356 yards, and the Steelers allowed 371 total yards. The Ravens, on the other hand, don't really let you pass the ball on them, while the Steelers, on the other hand, don't let you run the ball on them. Now, both teams play so differently. One is a runner, and the Ravens allow rushing yards. One is a passer, and the Steelers allow passing yards. So you can see they're evenly matched, and they're both in the top 10 when it comes to offensive plays. Yeah. So it should be an interesting game. So Ravens and Steelers are our first playoff preview game. And you can see they're not going to disappoint you offensively or defensively. The Steelers in the top 5 offensively, and the Ravens in the top 10 offensively. When it comes to defense, they're both in the middle of the pack, with the Ravens finishing just right at 10, and the Steelers finish right outside the top 10 and the top 12. But when it comes to who's gotten the most sacks, the Ravens edge out the Steelers in this, with having 39 sacks a game, as opposed to the Steelers 27. So it should be an interesting game. They're going to bring the pressure early. They're just going to relax and see what happens. When it comes to intros, though, turnovers, we're going to go into that. You can see here, the Steelers edges out by 1. But we're going to go into conversions now. The Steelers is the number 2 rated team when it comes to 3rd down conversion. So if it's 3rd down, the Steelers is out of 9 out of 10 to get in the 1st down. So it should be interesting for the Ravens to see how they handled that. The Ravens, not to be outdone, I believe they finished 11 in this category. Yeah, with 50%. So they're right there. That means basically, essentially, 5 out of 10 they will all get in the 1st down when it comes to it. Actually, my correction here. If you're looking at it out of 10 times, the Steelers are getting the 1st down 7 out of 10, 56%. 7 out of 10, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna jump up 2 just to give them extra. As opposed to the Ravens 5 out of 10. So it's still very doable for both sides. Red zone efficiency. The Ravens finished in the top 3 spots of red zone efficiency attempted. They was in the red zone 56 times, and they scored a total of 44. Yeah, 44 from math is right. I don't know. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. But with a 78%. And when it comes to the defensive red zone, they've only allowed 27 touchdowns out of basically almost 40 attempts in the red zone. So that's pretty good itself. Now the Steelers, on the other hand, they're not a great red zone team, but they're not bad either. So they're keeping it there. They've scored a total of 30. You right? Okay. Okay. They scored a total of 38 times in the red zone out of 52 attempts. So they say, they're pretty great when it comes to that also. So it should be interesting. Like I said, both teams are pound for pound equal. The only difference is one likes to run the ball, one likes to pass the ball. One gets more sacks, one gets more picks. When it comes to turnover differentiate penalties, they're both right next to each other. Ravens is one of the least penalized teams in the league. The Steelers one of the least penalized teams in the league at 38. Ravens is up there at 67, so they do get penalized a lot, so they need to watch the hold and watch the roughing the passes on that aspect. When it comes to turnovers, though, the Steelers edge out the Ravens with plus 14, and the Ravens are plus 10. So they basically, it's a 4-point turnover differential between these two. Like I said, it should be a good game. I look forward to watching it. Good luck to you, Quint, and good luck to you, Drake. Look forward to seeing the outcome of that game. We're going to move on and preview the next game on our playoff preview. The next game on our playoff preview should be... Wrong thing. Give me a second. Let's see. The next game on our playoff preview should be... Give me a second here. The Eagles versus the Seahawks. So we're going to call this Where is Waldo versus... I Spy. That's gonna be the name of this game. KC is Where's Waldo, constantly disappearing, and we all know forever as Mr. I Spy. He'll watch something, not say anything, just be quiet, won't bring it up until later on. I love him for that. Because if I miss something, which is rare, because when I'm not around, he's my I Spy, all seeing eye for when I'm not around to check things out. And KC, like I said, when KC plays, he's a great user. Stick skills is great. He's not as great at his mouth is a lot better than his stick skills at times. But he's a great user. He has beaten me twice out of maybe 30 times. I don't know, I can't remember, but he only beat me twice, if that. But no, actually no, 3 times. He beat me last Madden. So he's beat me last Madden and 2 times this Madden. Me and Casey have known each other for a while now. I've known forever for 7 years, and Casey for 2.5. But they're both great users. If KC shows up, it should be an interesting game. If not, Forever's gonna walk off into the next week, ready to face whoever he plays next. So moving on. I'm not gonna go over that game because KC hasn't responded back to me. I'm just gonna say good luck to the both of you if you guys get to play. If not, Forever, I'll give you a preview next week. Moving on up, we have this game should be interesting as this is an underdog versus a player of consistency. As you all know, the Texans 2 seasons ago went to the AFC Championship and got blown out by the eventual Super Bowl winner that year, the Chiefs. But the Bills, on the other hand, is a new user trying to develop himself. He's been in the league for 2.5 seasons, but he's been trying to develop himself and develop his character and to just develop his game, and he's slowly getting better. The first season, I think he had 4 wins. Last season, he upgraded it to, I want to say, 8 wins, and now this season he has 9 wins. This season he has 9 wins. Yeah, 9. He went up 1 win and made it to the playoffs. So he's been constantly improving from going from 3 wins. It was 7, not 8. He went 3 wins and he has 7 wins. Now he has 9 wins and he won the AFC East. Let's see the progress and consistency and just grinding out and just being faithful to your team pays off. So this should be an interesting game to preview. Let's dive in and see what these 2 users are about. So we're gonna go straight into stats again, kind of go to see what these 2 users are about. We're gonna dive right into it. So offensively, as you can see, the Texans in the top 5 offensive team. He's always been that way since he's been in the league for 4 seasons now. He's in my division, so he gets overshadowed by me, but he's a great user. He knows that. I tell him all the time. He gives me a hard time when I play him. He just can't give that up or something. Let me start showing because he did beat me 2 seasons ago to get over that hump and into the AFC Championship game. He beat me in division. But so, like I said, Texas is a great user. He's in the top 5 offensive users in the league. Now the Bills, like I told you, he's gonna be mid of the field, finishing there right there around the middle of the pack with 7,232 total yards in the league. Going on to the defensive aspect for both of them, like I said, Texans is a top, one of the top users in the league. So he finishes again in the top 5 defensively. While the Bills, he's still learning and grinding on the league, finishes in the bottom pass for the league when it comes to defensive plays. So I can call this at the beginning of the match. This is an underdog versus a consistent user. So could an underdog get the upset? Could a consistent user grind it out and move on to the division rounds? I've seen crazy things happen in the playoffs. Moving on to the conversion aspect of it, Texas once again finishes in the top 10, while the Bills will be mid-pack of the season with a third down ratio of 50%. Texas, I think, believe at 52. It's really not that much of a difference. It's the red zone efficiency and the turnovers. You're gonna see a big jump. So don't mind me jumping ahead. I already pre-did all this in my head and looked through everything before I actually streamed it. So it could flow through better and be more efficient. So you can see here when it comes to red zone efficiency, they both in the bottom of the pack. So they both turn the ball over in the red zone, or they both gamble and mess up in the red zone. So it should be an interesting aspect if they could get each other to the red zone and see who wins out that battle. The only difference is the Bills only made it to the red zone 56 times, the Texans 71. So interesting there. Penalties, they're both one of the most penalized teams in the league with 73, and I believe he's all the way down here, yes, 102 penalties. So watch for a lot of holding calls in this game, some roughing the passes, some illegal blocks in the back from the Bills. I know they told me they're going to try to correct that, so we're going to try to get the coach on the line shortly here when we do the coach interviews. To try to get them to see what their game plan was, when and if we get it before or after the game, to see what happened and where we can improve on. So the turnover ratio, I think they're both in the middle of the pack. Yeah, Texas is here with a +7, which is low compared to what he's used to. He's usually a double-digit turnover differential type of user. So him finishing at 7 this year is low for him, but the Bills have to be negative, yet -3. So they don't win a turnover battle. So this turnover aspect favors. What's up? How you doing, CLV, man? What's up? So the turnover battle here favors the favors the Texans. So it should be an interesting match to see what happens if the Texans could, force some turnovers and get the job done. Like I said, he has Aaron Rodgers balling out, and you still got Walt, Clowney, Clay Matthews going up against Watkins and Cadillac Jones. So Cadillac Jones has been balling out for the Bills. Should be an interesting matchup there. So good luck to you two. I look forward to it. The last matchup that we're going to go over, I'm going to stay right here so I don't dive into. I want to go back out, is the Lions versus the Huskies. Now this matchup is an interesting matchup. So for the playoff round this year, I had 2 game of the weeks that I wanted to watch. Those games is the Ravens versus the Steelers, and the other game was the Lions versus the Huskies. These 2 games should be well for. Like I said, the other game I called it Where's Waldo versus I Spy, and Underdog versus Consistent Player, which is Wells Waldo's Eagles versus my boy I Spy, which I call forever. And then we have the other game I just went over right now, which is the player consistent user, the Texans versus the Bills, who's new to it and progressing slowly down the line, going from a 3-win season to a 7-win season, and now a 9-win season in the playoff spot. He's Mr. Underdog, so could he pull it off? We'll see. Who knows how that goes. But we're going straight into it, diving into this other game of the week, which is the Lions versus the Huskies, as they like to be called now. They was the Cowboys. So we're gonna go into offensively. They are both evenly matched. And the Huskies got blown out when these last two teams played, so I know he still had that sour taste in his mouth. This should be an interesting game. But offensively, they're both evenly matched, with the offense favoring the Huskies, with him having 7,142 yards, and the Lions is in the middle of low bottom half of the league with 7,176. Defensively is where you're gonna start seeing a difference. Defensively, the Lions won the top-rated defense in the league, finishing in the top 3. While the Huskies are not too far along, they're not too bad. They finish in the top 10. But if you see the yards difference, is the big gap with 4,662 as opposed to 5,149. So it should be an interesting game. His point score is 386, and his point score is 278. That's almost 100. That's basically it's 118 in points difference. That's a lot of points. So the Lions want to clamp down defenses and they hold things tight and they hold things together. Moving on to the conversions. Both these teams need help converting better. They're both in the middle of the pack when it comes to conversion. You're going to see what I'm talking about soon. As you see, they both finish right here. They're actually both in the bottom of the league when it comes to conversion. So when it comes to third down, this is where both defenses should step up and both defenses should be able to get plus the field. So it should be an interesting game, like I said. I look forward to it. Moving on. Red zone efficiency, one of them is a lot better than the other when it comes to this, which would be the Lions. We're finishing with 73% in the red zone offensively and defensively. The Huskies finish in the bottom half of the pack here. They get a lot, they turn the ball over in the red zone, so they should look forward. I look forward to them improving on that and not over gambling as they used to, and just taking it easy and taking what the defense gives them in the red zone. Turnover penalties, they both won. They're not really penalized like that. Both of them. Let's see, the Huskies only penalized 52 times. The Lions penalized 61 times. So they're both consistent and don't do mental stupid mistakes. They both keep it fresh, keep it going. Turnover differential, and this is where it gets interesting because the highest turnover differential in the league. Like I told you, he's in the top 3 rated defensive in the league, and he's in the top 2 top 3 when it comes to points allowed in the league, and he has the highest turnover differential with 29 in the league. So for the Huskies to try to win this game, they cannot give the Lions possession of the ball. As you can see here, plus 29 turnovers is a ridiculous amount. They just got to hold on to that ball, protect the ball. Now the Huskies, not to be outdone, finishing in the bottom half of the league here with 2. So they don't really get a lot of turnovers. It's gonna be interesting to see how this game plays out. Like I said, it's one of those games where you have a top-rated defense versus a top-rated offense, but the defense wins championships, what they say. So we'll see. Huskies has a way. They have a way of pulling out games that you're expecting to win. The Lions are looking at a familiar foe. They blew them out last time. They're looking to continue that trend. While Huskies is with the Dogs are looking to pull in that. They're looking to leave a bite mark on the Lions. You have a wolf, husky, a puppy, or a canine. You have a canine going up against a lion, a primitive king of the jungle. So it should be an interesting finish to see how it goes. Good luck to the both of you. I'm looking forward to a great game. That concludes the wild card and the award show for BOE. I appreciate everybody that watched the stream. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, because we have so many different things in store that we have going on planned for BOE next year. Little tidbits and little gets that I'm going to be doing next year. I haven't announced it to the league yet, but I got little things I'm working on. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And look forward to a great playoff. All my owners have been with BOE for a long time, and thank you guys. I applaud you guys for continuing growing with us and continuing to keep the league going. Like I said, we've been running for 8 years, and some of you I've known for 7 years. I know y'all better than I know some of my friends I grew up with. We've watched kids get birth, we've watched families move and everything else, people getting married, all part of the BOE community. I'm going to try to grow the BOE community. I'm going to plan on doing a live PSN community event sometime this year, just to branch out our brand and get some BOE custom shirts or hoodies or whatever. Just to branch out our brand, throw it out there, have it posted in a few GameStops here and there, just to promote kind of a few owners of GameStops who don't mind if once I make the merchandise, something that we can't get up. Trying to do a few BOE sponsored tournaments in certain states, just try to get our brand out there. We'll see how that goes. So I have a lot in store for BOE. Thank you guys, applaud you guys for sticking around. I love y'all. But that is a preview for the wild card, the awards, and there's another one coming right up to you with the coach interviews and the divisional rounds. So enjoy. Your head commish, Mocha Boy Stars 08, aka Bobo Stars. I appreciate the love. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Stay blessed.